So with this frame in mind, I wanted to very quickly share the narrative arc of the youth panel today. The overall theme is transformation. You will hear these young people talk about the transformation of themselves, their efforts to work to transform systems, and also their efforts to transform their local communities. We will open the discussion with Julius, who will share the story of his personal transformation. We will then go on to Malachi to hear about the ways that he's engaged in local system reform in Boston. After that, we will hear from Taj, who will share more details about the work he's been organizing locally in Newark to change his local community. And then finally, on the youth side, we will hear from Daisy, who, while completing her undergraduate degree, it's worth noting she did that in 3.5 years, was able to also, at the same time, transform the local post-secondary system and the community to meet her own needs, representing her tribal community. These young people will also share 1 to 2 key strategies for people in the room to consider that may inform your MBK efforts. And I want to say the overall frame here is to posit these young people as the experts they are as we endeavor to do this work. And after that, we will hear from Dorothy Stoneman, who needs absolutely no introduction, but she will walk us through some of the 36-year history of Youth Build, and particularly this youth engagement piece, and give us some insightful wisdom on how we can continue to fold that into the work we are all doing together. I want you to know I'm not going to walk through the full bios of the panelists. As it was mentioned earlier, they are in your meeting materials. And then the final note is that we will try to move very quickly through the questions that we've prepared for the panelists, because we want to ensure that we engage all of you and the questions that you may have today as well. And so with that, I want to now turn to Julius, the very first panelist we'll hear from today. And Julius, so here's the question for you. We know that many community leaders in this room are here to learn about system and program level outcomes that can inform the work that they're doing for boys and men of color. And Julius, we know that you are part of Youth Guidance's Becoming a Man program in Chicago, and you have in fact actually been a part of that program since the 7th grade. And now that you are a high school senior, you have 6 years of experience participating in this program. So I'm curious to hear you talk today, Julius, about the transformation of yourself as you have participated in this program, and also how it informs your future vision.
All right, well, so 7th grade, that's 6 years. So I've been on my mentor, Mr. Becky, his birthday is today.
Happy birthday.
And so he been knowing me since he first started BAM, and since I was little, so basically my transformation before even BAM started, I was just like an average kid, and just, getting a C average, grades, not in too much trouble, just a normal kid. So then I started BAM in a sports mentoring. So I was just into the sports part, but then I didn't know nothing was a mentor part until they told me when they had referred me that because my grades was low, they was just gonna help me get my grades back up. So during that, I'm getting the mentoring, getting the grades back up. Then I finally graduated out of 8th grade. Now I was thinking my transformation through that is high school. And when I was thinking about high school, I was like, oh, what I'm gonna do and what crowd I'm gonna hang out with, building up my reputation for the rest of my 3 years in high school. So then freshman year comes in, and I was basically not focusing at all. I was trying to, get my reputation built up, let everybody know who I am. And so basically all that came to the end of my freshman year, and for me not focusing, that made a struggle to me because my GPA got low. So it's hard to build up a GPA, especially when it's your freshman year. It's gonna be hard for the next year. So that's happening. So I bumped back into, I didn't even know Ben was even at my school, to be honest. So I bumped back to my mentor. We talked, and then he was like, yeah, you should come back into BAM, and help you get through high school. So then, sophomore year, I was just focusing a little bit more, finally back in BAM. And my junior year was my turning point. That's when I'm settling in. My junior year, I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I started, my teachers see the struggle in my behavior. I started getting into trouble, getting suspended a lot during the weeks. And BAM basically was there every step of the way through my educational life, and not just educational, just basically personal. And like they helped me with my academic performance, my emotional performance, my basically just being there supporting me. And at the time of my junior year, before all this happened, a turning point, I had a friend that passed away a couple of weeks. So like all that emotion from him passing away, how building started eating me up. So then I believe that's when my turning point started coming. So then when BAM, you know, like we have check-ins where we can sit, like it's a group of, you know, young boys that's in your school. You sit there, you say, I'm checking in, you be, you know, emotional level. You ain't gotta be emotional, but like during the years I've been in there, I see like we have students like from every, like across the, you know, across the Chicago, because you know, Chicago is not like a perfect city. But you have gangs, you have like gang members that's in BAM that, you know, interact with each other in a negative way, where they got the killing and the fighting and all that stuff. But like if you sit in a group, like you will see like they don't even bring that in. Like you see like they really interacting with each other, like basically get on the emotional level that you would never knew they would get on. So like that helped me because basically, you know, like I said, my friend passed away. And I was just going through my emotional, you know, moment. So like basically now I'm a senior, and like now I believe I seen a real change in me from being an average kid to a bad kid now to getting A's and B's.
All right.
And also I built up got my makeup class, and I built my GPA back up, and like. Now looking at the future, because at the time, my junior year, when I was giving up, I was finna drop out of school, but I had my mentors that helped me, motivate me not to do that. Like, I'm going to college now, and like, at first I didn't even want to go to college. I was like, this is my senior year, I can't do this, I'm finna go straight to work, and I don't even want to deal with school no more. But like, they convinced me to like, you know, like, keep your education going, like, because ain't really nothing, and like, you not being in these streets is not nothing out here for you. You need to keep your education going. So now, yeah, basically I got my good grades, and like they helped me with visionary goal setting, one of my core values, and BAM, you know, like accomplishing my goals, set my standards high, don't never give up, work hard, play hard, and like, you know, basically like that. So you can.
So it's worth noting that BAM, Becoming a Man program, is so often looked up as a program that fosters a type of internal transformation Julius is speaking of. Julius, I heard you talk about mentors. I heard you talk about counseling, both individual and group counseling as well. A peer network that reinforces the behaviors and choices that affirms this sort of expanded vision of yourself as both someone who pursues an academic career and is a leader with his peers. And then this thing that came up this morning when Taj was speaking around goal setting, right? And so this sort of notion of how we change our actions to continuously meet our goals. And so I just think that that's worth noting as people in the room think about what designing programs that really spur the type of internal transformation and foster that for young people looks like based on the testimony that Julius just shared with us. Thank you for that, Julius.